Welcome to Thirsty Thursday. As always, we're here at the East Village Hotel in Darlinghurst, Brendan Bradford. Always good to have you.
Good to be here.
Happy National IPA Day.
Oh, what a great day.
I
didn't know about it until yesterday.
we'll get to this. We did say we weren't going to do any more IPAs. That's pretty much all we've been doing, but I thought today was probably the best way to do it. Obviously, we've got the Roosters and the Dragons coming up tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit. We've got a cracking guest. Do you want to talk about the beer for a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. A bit of a local beer, Camperdown. I believe Wayward Sun. Is it lupulin? Lupulin.
Yeah, so it's it is the yellow powder that you get off a hop plant, off the leaves.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
it's good knowledge.
Good
Research.
Yeah, pretty good. Cracking beer. So we're going to say Wayward and Camperdown is East Sydney-ish.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
It's definitely not St George Illawarra, so I think we're going to go with that.
Just off Parramatta Road there, near Missenden Road.
And there's a little bit of an Easter egg in terms of the colours of the can of who our guest will be, which I only just realised then.
Oh yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Huh?
If you can guess, it could be two teams.
Yeah, could be two teams.
He's played for a lot of teams.
If you can guess who it is and tell us right now down below, I'll send you a six-pack of it.
Without looking at the title of the video.
Without looking at the title of the All right, what do we got?
Let's crack into it. Ooh.
Now, we have been hammered a little bit because we've been giving straight 10s to beers. I don't know if this is the week where we...
No, definitely not. This is amazing.
I don't get it. It's a great beer. So the specifics, it's 7.3%. As I said, it's an IPA with citrus eupulin in it. So it's a little bit hazier than you'd usually expect for like a West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
Pairs with happiness. Again.
Happiness. Damn triumph.
Spicy chicken wings. I had that last week with it and it was absolutely fantastic.
Bit of mango in there. Mango juice. Mangoes.
What can you do with mangoes and a microwave?
Whatever.
No? I guess we'll talk about that a bit later. That's for the after dark version. In terms of the beer, so there's that little bit of pine. As I said, West Coast IPA. Finish is pretty dry. Fantastic beer.
Really easy.
Would you have it as a one-off? Like a sessionable beer?
I could imagine myself drinking several of these.
Yeah.
Maybe, dangerously drinkable is a word I've seen to describe this, and that is spot on.
And it comes in a 4-pack or a 24-pack, but I think 4 is probably like the perfect amount for that.
Yeah, well, what is it? It's 2.1 standard drinks, so very strong.
Yep.
But yeah, it just doesn't taste overpowering.
Hides it well.
Really smooth.
The big question.
Yep.
If it was a footy player, who would it be?
Big, strong, on the field, but I'm telling you, just a really nice guy off the field. I've only ran into him a couple of times, but each time he's just a gentleman and a lovely guy, but super, super strong.
Yep.
Jared Warrior-Hargreaves.
Yeah.
Roosters playing tonight.
Good shot.
I know he cops it, especially over the last week or two, but he's genuinely a really nice guy.
In my younger years, I saw him out at the cross one night and a bunch of Roosters players, it's a good ending, sorry. A bunch of Roosters players all in like a kind of cordoned off bit. And I was like, JWH, because we're besties. And he was like, oh yeah, how you going, mate? And like kind of reached his massive paw over the line. I was like, yeah, having a good night. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, do you want a drink? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. Poured me a drink. And then he's like, all right, have a good night, which is, the polite way of saying, run along.
We're done.
I was like, all right, thank you, Mr. JWH. Massive legend.
Good bloke.
I'm going to go with Jake Friend. Probably a little bit of the same reason. He's surprisingly strong. You see those kind of start of the year bench records and everything for the Roosters. He's always up there. There's not a whole lot of him, although he's a meaty, youngish man. Yeah. But also, silky skills. I'm not sure where the mango link would be, but I'm sure if I think hard about it, make it a anyone else thing.
Queensland,
yeah, that works. Okay, that would be why I think Jake Friend is this beer. Should we talk about another great Queenslander?
We should. How many Origins would Jake Friend have played without Cam Smith? Before we go into it.
22.
Yeah, I reckon a lot.
22, awfully specific, but I think about 22. Anyways, let's talk about our guest.
Another great Queenslander, Chris Walker.
Yes.
Straight into it. Played Broncos legend, but played for the Roosters, played for the Eels, played for South, played for most teams.
Played for the Storm.
Storm, Titans,
A little bit of
Eels, Dragons. 6 origins for Queensland on the
Yep.
wing. Super quick. This bear could be a Chris Walker, like deceptively fast.
He was kind of one of the, what I think, like the small wingers, like before like Tanya Tuaki and all that.
Yeah.
But who was just like super fast, built low to the ground,
Yeah.
and just hammering through. How we'd go with, like you need really tall wingers now for so many kicks, I don't know, but during his time, he was like super quick.
Absolute gun. And obviously, Walker's on, Walker's on.
Walker's on. Walker's on. Walker's on. Walker's on. Pass it on, Hodjo. Hodjo, Walker's on. Watch Walker.
Can you let them know that Walker's on the field?
Yeah, I did already.
He gets
I mean, there's a reason
Yeah.
the whole New South Wales side needed to know that Walker's on, Walker's on, Walker's on.
So do we ask that as the first or the last
First
question?
question. First question. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't get it 100 times every day.
All right, let's get him to go. We promised big, and I think we've delivered.
100%.
Finally, for once in our life. Chris Walker, thanks so much for joining us, mate.
Always a pleasure, boys. Always a pleasure.
I guess we probably have to start with the question you're
Yeah.
obviously, or the comment that you're asked a million times a day. Walker's on, Walker's on. What was the time when you finally realised you'd heard it too many times?
Probably after week 1.
Yeah.
After it came out on the Footy Show, mate. I mean that happened 19, 18 years ago. So the funny thing is, I still cop it so much today. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's for a good thing. Which not many people remember me too much about good things playing football, but to have that, to have that thrown around, mate, it's sort of I wear that with a badge of honour. They're obviously New South Wales were pretty afraid of me in the attack, not so much in defence because they know that I couldn't make a tackle, but that was. It was a good thing to have. I mean, it's a great thing to be remembered by, and New South Wales, and obviously the beast that State of Origin football is now renowned as. To dominate in that arena it's a nice feeling.
Social media thing you're involved in over the last couple of weeks was, I mean, the Broncos are not doing so well, and I can only imagine, like as a former Broncos player, you're on social media after a match or whatever, but. So some shit happened with the Broncos losing again, but where do you stand on that? Like as a former, Broncos great, had some great years there as well.
Well, mate, the thing is, I mean, I did get into a little bit of trouble about it 2 weeks ago. I come out and apologised because I mean, at the end of the day, I started my rugby league career at the Broncos, and to see what they're going through at the moment. I probably shouldn't have said what I said about Brodie Croft about his crocodile tears. That was just something that I felt like I'm not one to hold back. I'm not one to sort of hold back on social media. But mate, I saw it as the Broncos got beaten 1 week and then they go out there and I think it was Isaac Luke who was Isaac Luke. Yeah, Isaac Luke's the hooker, isn't he? He's laughing and joking with his ex-teammates. There was high pressure on the club because obviously it's the Broncos, and then they come out and then the next week and you see players crying, and then 2 weeks later they get beaten by 40 points, and the same player who was laughing and crying, was out there laughing and joking. I saw that, like I've been beaten by 1 point, I've been beaten by 40 as well, and the first thing I want to do is fuck off and get into the dressing sheds. I want to get in there as fast as I can. I've got the tail between my legs. I deal with the situation as soon as I get in the dressing sheds. I don't want to deal with the situation sitting out there, laughing and joking with teammates. I've done that. I've laughed and joked with teammates after games. That's after, it doesn't matter whether you be beaten by 1 point or, like I said, 40. You don't want to, but you don't stand out. You stand out there for 2 minutes. Don't stand out for 30 minutes laughing and joking. But it wasn't until Monday morning I had all weekend to think about it. I thought, you know what, fuck it. I might as well apologise to this kid because I don't know what he's like mentally. He might be mentally weak. Not mentally weak. He might be having mental demons that I thought, you know what, maybe I should support him. And then Petro comes out and he says what he said on social media, a bit of clickbait for Petro. But where the fuck was Petro when I was getting pot-shotted by journos and people in the grandstand that were giving it to me? I never heard from Petro my whole career. That's how come I fired back at Petro. Petro and I are mates. I've got no dramas. I shake hands with Petro all the time. I have a beer with Petro when I see him. But don't come out and attack me on social media because you want clicks and you want likes. That's what I don't do it. I just speak my mind, and it's a platform for me to talk, and that's what I do. And I hurt just like every other supporter, sponsor, family member involved with the club and player and coaching staff. I get that fucking frustrated sitting on the couch after a loss, and I hate it. It doesn't sit well with me, but I've just got to learn to maybe control my emotions after a game.
Mate, before I knew you as a footy player, I knew you as a breakfast show star when Kyle and Jackie O used to call you when you had the House of Grouse in Sydney. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Where's this guy? Is this PG or is this RA?
No. This is after dark. It's fine.
So the House of Grouse, mate, how did it all come about? I was playing at the Roosters. I was living with Toddy Payton. Quick story, Toddy Payton and I were living together. Our lease ran out. Anthony Minicello had just, I think he just broke up with his missus. So he needed a place to live. And then Brett Finch lived in Cronulla with his mum and dad still at the age of 23. So Ricky Stewart got a hold of it and he said, boys, listen, if you guys are going to be playing in my team, there's no way in God's earth I'm letting all you four boys live together. He said, I know it's going to go on. And so we sort of defied the odds, and we ended up getting we ended up paying, I think it was about fucking $6,000 bond because it was a mad house. Anyway, we dug our heels in and we said, righto, if our form starts slumping, this is in the start of 2004, end of 2003, if our form starts slumping, you guys have permission to kick us all out. We'll go our separate ways. We ended up making the grand final that year. We got beaten against the Bulldogs, but for 12 months, I was the only stupid prick that had a girlfriend. I was going out with Devilwood at the time, so I couldn't behave. But mate, Brett Finch, Anthony Minicello, and then Mick Crocker ended up moving in with us, and Toddy Payton, and they were all single. But the thing is, at the end of 2003, Toddy Payton had left the Roosters, and he'd signed with the West Tigers, and mate, poor old Toddy, mate, for 15 of the first first 15 rounds of the competition, I think we played 13 Friday night games for the Roosters, and Toddy would always play on the Sunday. And we used to party Friday night after the game. We'd get up, we'd go to rehab, with recovery, which is your massage, your swimming and all that sort of stuff. Then we'd get back on the piss, straight down to the Bondi Beach Road Hotel. Tommy, the manager, would look after us, and we'd drink and get on the punt all Saturday, get home at 5, 6 o'clock Sunday morning, get up at 10, go down to the Beach Road Hotel again, get pissed till 12 o'clock Sunday night, and then go to train on Monday, play Friday, and we did that for 13 weeks straight after playing 13 Friday night games. And if those walls could talk, mate, the first month we went in, we knew all the nightclubs, the nightclub owners and the managers and all that sort of stuff, in the cross with all that gang. And we said, right, we're having a housewarming party. You got to invite all the pretty girls and whatnot. So we got sponsored by the Beach Road Hotel. They supplied 3 kegs and about 15 cartons of piss. And we had, at the time, Sneaky Sound System. They were the number one DJs around the country. Actually, they were worldwide back then. We had Damien Hesse. We had a housewarming party. We had Damien Hesse bring his decks, and he played at our housewarming party. And there was about 600 to 700 people in the house. And it was like, and I was every weekend we'd go out and we had groups of people come up and say, I was at your housewarming party, and I never even knew who these people were. And they said it was the best housewarming party we've ever been to. We have Anthony Minicello with his shirt off, dancing on the table, and then we had Damien Hesse on the DJ's decks in the background, it's gone down in folklore. But that house, I could tell you 1,000 different stories about that house. With mate, it was mate, we're only 23, 24 years of age, and playing professional football, getting paid a shitload of money and partying like there's no tomorrow. It was fucking unbelievable.
Is there a bloke from the Roosters back at that time where, who didn't live in the House of Grouse, but if someone said, so and so's coming around, and you just go, oh geez, like here's trouble.
Well, mate, Nate Kalis, he was living out. I think he was living out of butt-fuck nowhere, past Parramatta. So, mate, there was 5 of us lived in the house, but he was the honorary 6th. You'd walk down, you'd just see your hair. We used to call him your hair because he had all that big hair. You'd just see your hair laying on the couch asleep, and he'd be there for 3 days. So, but the thing is, he didn't pay rent. But he was Jace Kalis. He's a legend. He's one of the nicest blokes, and all the boys. And then we had And then we had Paul Fisher. He's one of the biggest DJs, going around at the moment. Follow the Fish. I introduced him to the boys because I knew him up here as a young kid. And mate, when I introduced Fish, he ended up living with us for a total. So we're in the house for 12 months. I think Fish lived with us for a total of about probably 7 to 9 months. Like he was with us all the time. And Fish was a young kid at the time. He was 18. He was trying to break onto the surfing world tour. He wasn't even DJing. He had no money, and we used to just pay for everything because I don't know if you know Paul Fisher. He's one of the biggest DJs going around at the moment in the world, not just Australia. But his value to the house was impeccable. Like we used to call him heroin because too much will kill you, and a small dose is a grouse. So, but yeah, he was awesome too. Like he used to throw another vibe into the house as well. So, but mate, yeah, he was good. He was real good.
Hey, just finally, we could keep you here literally we could keep you here all afternoon, but you walked 100 Ks around the Gold Coast about a month or two ago. I just want to know why.
Well, mate, I think you've had Benny Shea, on your podcast, mate. What a great man! What an absolute legend of a man. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a beautiful character. He inspires me the way that he does his stuff with his life. And I reached out to him after he did the David Goggins challenge, where he ran 3.5 or 7.5 Ks every 4 hours. Now, mate, mentally, that is up here. Mate, that's some real mental toughness, and sort of that inspired me to do what I did. And I'd been thinking about doing the walk by myself, but when I'd seen Benny Shea and I'd followed him on his Instagram and I saw him on his journey, I reached out to him, obviously because that Ipswich connection as well. And I said, listen, mate, I'm thinking about doing this 24-hour challenge. Now, Benny's mental toughness, it was unbelievable, and it's an inspiration to me. He'd done that, I think, a week and a half before we did our 100K walk, which took us 24 hours to do. And I just did it because I wanted to do it. And it sort of got me thinking about, about life and about these organisations that do it tough. And obviously we saw Celeste Barber raise all this money for all these charity, and it didn't go there. And there was all this conjecture about it. And we're actually now looking at doing a challenge app, where the money that we can raise goes to organisations like Livin and, any charity, Red Kite. We can start raising awareness, where you raise awareness and you raise money for these organisations. Sorry, my phone just dropped. But it's so rewarding. I got home, I slept for 2 hours, I was that buggered, and I got up and I was like, man, fuck, not many people can say they've walked 100 Ks in 24 hours. I'm thinking about doing another one at the moment with Benny. So I haven't told Benny yet, but I'm going to tell him. But mate, he's an inspiration, and anyone who doesn't follow him, go follow him. He's a great man, and I mean that's how our connection is. So thanks for having me on, boys.
Massive thanks to Chris Walker, genuine mad dog.
How good was he? Amazing, great chat.
I feel like we kind of had to get him off the phone. I was like, I don't want to have you all night.
Actually, could have talked to him for another 2 hours.
Fantastic. Yeah. Who do you like for tonight?
It's just hard to go past the Roosters.
Yeah, especially with Paul Vaughan out for the Dragons.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the change Flanagan for Lamb.
Yeah, okay.
I quite like. I've been a fan of Lachlan Lamb for a little while, so it's not an out. I've been tipping upsets for the last couple of weeks, but I'm going safe and going Roosters. Yeah,
I'm a bit of a coward. I'm also going to go the Roosters. See how we go. Let us know in the comments below if you have tried the Lupulin IPA. I think it's a fantastic beer. Brings happiness. 10 out of 10.
It's a 10.
Let us know in the comments below if you've had it, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.